Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to share with you about making your listings pop was to have some really great backgrounds and environment photos. So what I mean by that is your first product photo should be just of the product itself. And what I recommend doing is finding a really cool background that you can use with your listing. So what I use is a tray that I picked up in one of the boutiques in my town, and I've had this for a couple years, and I use this for all sorts of listings in the past, over the past couple years, and then also for my other businesses as well. This white rustic backdrop is really good and really relates to the whole vibe I'm going for in my shop in general, which is like a rustic elegance type of theme. And so this particular background is huge. I can fit a lot on it, and I can really create some amazing photos with this backdrop. So I would love for you to find something in your house. I'm sure you could find a table. Maybe it's dark or maybe it's light. I would stick with those variations. I wouldn't do sparkles, or blue isn't really even a great color either. I would love for you to just pick a darker light or use both of them in contrast and create your listing photos there. Now, that being said, I would love you to have some props to go along with your product listings. So the second photo should be your product in its environment. So if you're a hand letterer, that would probably be a product shot of your beautiful creation that is framed and hanging on a wall. So that's what I mean by an environmental shot. For some of my things, I would take some pictures with my wood signs, maybe with a beautiful vase with flowers and a lamp in the background, and that way somebody could visualize like, hey, I actually could use that in my house. That looks really great. You want to give people an idea of how your product could be used in their own house. Then I want you to think of the rest of the photos as sort of just bonuses, extras on the cake, so to speak, and that you can use inside of your listing as well as in social media. So you're going to need some props for that. So I want you to make a list of props that would go alongside of your product. So if I make coffee mugs, for instance, like let's just use this one here, what I might decide to do was create an environment around this coffee mug on top of my background, and that's called a flat lay. This is something that I'm just creating a fun image that I can share on social media and in my Etsy listing. So I might use the coffee mug, but then I also might use this beautiful orchid, and you can pick up a lot of tiny little cacti and succulents and orchids like this one to go along with your listing. You're creating kind of a theme or a lookbook or a magazine with your product listings just to make things a little bit more interesting. So I might go ahead and use that. I also might use something like this. This is a tool that I use for tea, loose leaf tea. I pour the hot water on top of my mug, and then I can set that aside, and I've got a beautiful little flat lay that I can share in my listing as well as on social media. So number 2 is taking a photo all by itself, getting a great background, coming up with some props, and then making sure that you're giving them an idea of how your product can be used in the real world.